My students in Delhi can use the DU and that's how we call them as the assessment and examination centers and teaching learning centers. So like you have coffee centers and coffee houses, you can go and chat and innovate anywhere, anything. The same way, your entire teaching learning can happen anywhere. Whole world is a classroom. The classroom boundaries are punctured, and anywhere, even if I'm abroad, it becomes my classroom for my SRM students. So that's the life about the virtual thing, and these are the examples.
I think it's a fantastic example for what we are really discussing is a collaborative classroom. So if all institutes collaborate with each other, I think no student will have a problem of accessibility. I think that would be absolutely fantastic if we are able to reach that point. Because Dr. Sanjeev Singh is facing a problem, I'm going to move on. Many countries, you know, are shifting to distance learning, and so many examples and so many things are being, you know, tried by everybody. And the worst form of learning, you know, is to sit passively. Like a lot of people online, what they're doing is that they're sending videos, they're sending a lot of tutorials and material for students to do it on their own. So that is becoming, it's not really serving the student really well. And especially people who are actually living very far away or don't have accessibility. So I have the next question to Dr. Anand Samuel.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dr. Sanjeev Singh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Suddenly, I don't know what went wrong, but I'm back, so I'll take it later. Please go to Professor Anand. Yeah.
So the next question is for Dr. Anand Samuel, and that is to how to tackle the content deficit existing in the e-learning space in the institutional curriculum. Over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Sharmila and Aditya, for giving this opportunity, and very grateful to all the co-panelists and all the listeners who are in different parts of the country. It's nice to be here talking about the current topic. And this is one thing which maybe, I don't know how many of us really thought about the deficit in content. I will tell you about it a little later. Before that, as an introduction, I thought I should tell that, yes, we all know that we are experiencing this pandemic, and it has created havoc, I would say, panic among people. Many are dead, and everybody is you know, worried about what will happen tomorrow. And it has changed the world upside down. It's all known to us. These are all negative things. But in the midst of negative things, you know, when I look at the pandemic as such, I'm also able to visualize there are positive things also emerging because of the pandemic. The three things I'll just tell, and I'll move on to my topic. The first thing is that the family bonding has increased tremendously. And it's a good thing for the whole world as such. And now people say, the doctors say, all the people are becoming more, you know, healthier nowadays. They've stopped going to doctors and they're staying at home. And one of our counselors, you know, I don't want to mention which counselor and all that, he said, sir, my target is for every year it is about 5,000 people should die in that region. And this year it's only about 2,500. I can expect 500 more. So I'm short of 2,000. So that means the health component is increasing tremendously because of this pandemic, I would say. And the third one is that, which is related to our topic, it has opened the eyes of the educators and education. It has opened the eyes, I would say, in terms of taking care of the entry behavior of the students. See, I can take a bet that most of us, either in school or in college, we never bother about entry behavior, which is taught as a first lesson when we have teacher education training. And we have left it. We think that, you know, what we know we have to deliver. We go to the classroom, we deliver it the way we want. That's how it has been going on. Now this pandemic has brought into this virtual mode, and now we have questions. So is it the right thing? Will I be able to convince the students, and will the students be able to grasp and things like that? But if you get into the entry mode behavior, you will understand the present day students in the colleges. They are called as Generation Z. I don't want to go deep into X, Y, Z and coming up Generation Alpha, their characteristics and all that. This Generation Z who are there in the college, they are all tech savvy and they are all called as netizens. And so for them, virtual mode is the thing that they have been longing for. Whether they outwardly speak or not is a different issue. But internally, the generation itself defines that psychologically these people are after virtual mode. and we have not given it. Pandemic has forced us to give it. And so that means it's good for the education as such. So with that note in mind, we have to move further. Then only it will be, in my opinion, it will be meaningful. Now coming to the education per se, one I told you about the entry behavior, and the other one is that, see, everyone talks about cognitive ability and maybe inculcating the cognitive skills and assessing and so on. But one thing, a couple of things that we miss is that for a holistic picture in the education part, it's not just cognitive component alone that is necessary. There are two other things which are equally important, and sometimes some of the industries, they say it is more important than even cognitive skills. They are the affirmative skills and the psychomotor skills. So otherwise, all the three are combined together and given in toto in the classroom, it's not complete. It's not complete education. If you ask me, have we been giving complete education earlier? No. Maybe because of what we do, it has been happening. We are consciously concentrating only on the cognitive skills, and the psychomotor and the affirmative, it happens. Sometimes, we have skill development courses and all that for psychomotor, but affirmative, the behavioral concepts, it happens because of the way we do things, but we are not conscious about it. We never evaluate, we never assess any of those things. All those things are happening, so it has not been there a full education so long. But now, the moment we came out of face-to-face, the question that is asked by everybody, okay, cognitive, you will talk about it. Okay, you will be able to disseminate that using all the technology and so on. What about the behavioral skills? Everybody is worried about it. Okay, and you know about that ASK, attitude, skills, and knowledge. And this is in the order of priority as far as the industry is concerned. They want attitude to be the first component to be inculcated in the colleges, and then the skill, and then the knowledge. They say knowledge, we know how to train them, we will train them and all. And that's how I'm not saying that is the right thing, but that's how the industries are going. And so attitude part, we're not touched upon it, but it has been inculcated because of what we have been doing. Now everybody's asking, okay, what will happen to the behavioral aspects? I have seen many of the big shots asking this question. Face to face, we will take care of behavioral aspects, but in virtual mode, we will not be able to take care of the behavioral modes. So this is the content deficit that I'm talking about. Now people think the teachers who have been teaching so long, they think, with 10 years, 20 years of experience, and they're used to this. They're all experts in the subject. No second question about that at all. No second thought about that at all. And they are experts. So what they have been doing, going to the classroom, standing before their students, and then delivering, if they do it in front of the computer or the laptop like this, now that is online education, that is virtual mode. If that is what is been the thought pattern, I want to tell that it is totally incorrect. I won't say it's wrong, it is incorrect. That's not the thing at all. There are so much more there for online education. We need to educate ourselves. I don't think we have time for all those things. But the point is that, yes, right now, the content, when I say content, I don't mean the content pertaining to the cognitive skills alone, cognitive ability alone. The content with regard to affirmative skills, the psychomotor skills is, there is a gap there, and we need to fill up that. That is a must. And at VIT, I would like to say that we have thought about it, we researched about it, we have experimented in our classrooms and so on. And what we have done is that we have created a template, okay, which will take care of not only the cognitive ability, delivering the cognitive ability, but also the affirmative and the psychomotor ability, and also methods of assessing them. So we have created a template, and we are now training all of the faculty members. As such, all our faculty members have been trained either by Coursera or MIT course on creating a MOOC, on creating a MOOC. All of us have completed it. And in addition to it, we have also trained many of our teachers through our academic college on these, the template that we have developed. So which will be unique in my opinion, I would say, where it takes care of the holistic education, not only cognitive in the virtual mode, also the affirmative and psychomotor. So that is how it is moving. And I think my time has reached, and so I will stop here. Maybe in the question time, if there is anything more that I need to add, I will definitely add. Thank you very much for this patient.
Thank you, Dr. Samuel. That was very, very enlightening. And I think to be able to deliver content which is going to look at all the aspects of the development of the student is really need of the hour. And I think what you're doing, training and capacity building of the faculty, I think that is really, really required. Thank you so much. So we're going to go back to Dr. Singh with his earlier question. I'm going to repeat the question. What are the different methodologies adopted with the help of EdTech to ensure the smooth transition from conventional to virtual, especially during COVID-19? Over to you.
Right. Thank you. My apologies for the sudden breakdown of connection. So I was just mentioning that all the learned panelists, they have already expressed their viewpoints on how they have been using the technologies at different purpose. I mean, we at Delhi University have experimented because we cater to somewhere around 900,000 students, right? And it's a huge number. And we are trying our best to provide them the indigenous technology. So somehow, because we have tested many, off-the-shelf products, but they didn't work because otherwise you have to fine-tune your methodology and other things to use. So we thought and we designed our own systems to cater to such situations. So though we have integrated in our system the various other platforms like Google and Teams and other things just to facilitate all the processes. But before moving on to that, I must applaud the all the faculty members across the nation that how in no time they have migrated to these online platforms, right? Without any training, any formal literature, any other programs conducted to them, but how quickly they have adopted this new change. And I'm sorry, but it's a blessing in disguise that due to pandemic situation, all the faculty members, they have immediately migrated to the platform, and they have not let down their institutional commitment to deliver the education, right? So from March onwards till May, June, every faculty member, they have been delivering constantly the content, the teaching to all the students at different levels. We have, if I may share some data, that we have delivered about more than 38,000 online classes during last three months, right? And we have conducted, I think, similar number of assignments and the assessment, all using these platforms. And what we have done for, to take care of the examination, we have designed and developed our own systems to conduct the open book examination. And we are going ahead with that. So these are some of the, steps we have taken. And I'm sure that every institution have taken such steps to cater to such, unwanted, situation. So there are number of technologies available, and there are a number of platforms available which can be easily integrated to any institutional setup. But most important part here is how the content is to be delivered, how the institutional pedagogy needs to be integrated with that platform. This is a very, very debatable issue, because every institution has its own pedagogy, that they have their own ways in delivering content, whether it's face-to-face or online. And most of our institutions, they have already integrated the virtual platform to strengthen the face-to-face teaching and learning. So virtual learning is not entirely a new concept, but 100% is a new concept. So this is the in thing, and I think we should be ready and gear up for to handle this situation. So when we say the academic repository, as Professor Anand has very well said, that they are trying their best to develop different kind of content with the help of different technologies. And the biggest challenge in front of us is to assist, provide support to all the students who are from the, they need the assistive technologies, right? So all these platforms, they are not 100% complying to all, which can provide the assistive technologies. So we need to bring them on board. So that is one major challenge we are facing at the moment. So we are trying to work out a suitable platform so that all our students who unfortunately can't see or can't use the technology the way other students are using. So how we can make those platforms more effective so that their onboarding is also equally, easy, and seamless integration can be done for them. Other thing is the content where, on one side, everyone might be aware of, the government is creating a lot of content, right? Whether it's a SWAYAM portal or EPG Pathshala and many other initiatives. I think they are trying their best to provide the best content, and that content is created by all the institutions across India. So we can debate on this, that whether do we need to create content in isolation in different places, but how to aggregate them, the content. So I think need of the hour is to aggregate the content and to create a national repository of the content so that all the students can access one repository which is authenticated. There is no dearth of content, but we need to ensure the authenticity of the content, relevance of the content. And I'm sure that the government is very, very serious on that, especially MHRD, UGC and all. They have opened up all the resources, whatever content they have created, whether through NMEICT or through NPTEL, and now EPG Pathshala. EPG Pathshala has a great resource of more than 23,000 of content for UG, undergraduate and the postgraduate programs, right? And how we can improvise, because we must admit one fact, that content cannot be created overnight. It takes a lot of time. You can deploy technology overnight. That is how we did. All the institutions, they have migrated to virtual platform overnight, right? But the content, from where you're going to get the content, and that too is the authentic content, which mix and which matches our pedagogy, which matches our curriculum, which is framed by the UGC and other institutions, which are autonomous. So this is something where we need to deliberate and think about the modalities where we can utilize, and the theme is the collaborative learning, like the collaborative classroom and all that. So if we have created some content, and Professor Anand has rightly said they are creating content, how do we collaborate? How do we share the content with each other? So we don't have to waste the time and dig the well again and again to drink the water. So this is the situation where, so there has to be some kind of a uniformity in the content, and also the availability and visibility of the content which other institutions are developing, so that we can collaborate more effectively with any of the institutions and leverage on the content which is being developed. So somewhere the policies will play a major role, and I think the MHRD is working on that very seriously. And probably the SWAYAM portal is one national gateway for all such kind of initiative, where all the institution can upload or provide their content on the SWAYAM portal and make it available to rest of the country. So I think this initiative would be more beneficial for the students of all the levels, and also the faculty, because now SWAYAM portal is providing the ARPIT program, where the teachers can attend the refresher programs, orientations program, by which they need the faculty development sort of things, right? So that is one very effective gateway. So they don't have to go and travel here and there to attend such kind of programs. Similarly, the students can attend to that. Now, another aspect of the teaching and learning where we need more effective collaboration is the science-based program, where the laboratories are the key component. And many initiatives have already been taken to virtualize the experiments, right? But that are happening only in very limited areas, right? For example, the physics and electronics and computer science and all that. Some virtual labs are being created, they are being given to them. But how do we provide the hands-on experience, right, on the virtual platform? And what about the experiments dealing with the life sciences researchers, right? Where actually they have to grow the seeds and they have to monitor the growth of different plants and all that. So we need to constantly work on that. But there might be a solution, because we can virtualize the lab, where on the instruction of the researcher or the request of the researcher, one lab can do the work what they are trying to achieve. Because you might be aware of virtual foresting, right? Virtual agriculture. So people are hiring the lands and they are asking the farmer that you grow this for me. And through the help of CCTV cameras and all that, they are actually monitoring the growth of their plants and all. So these concepts are there, but how do we incorporate in our pedagogy and the curriculum, that we need to deliberate upon. So this is just my observations to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev Singh. And I think the future is about pooling in all the content and having a large repository of content from various institutes and various leaders in various domains in education. And of course, the NIFT is also facing a similar crisis for hands-on experience, lab work. And a lot of that courses have been shifted to the next semester, but we're also working on how we can create these kind of experiences virtually for our students.
Right.
Thank you very much. And now I'm going to quickly go on to Dr. Reeta Sonawat, and just to say that, although we are doing things virtually, we have students, learning from faculty, whether it's in schools or in colleges, but a lot of, again, comes this question of accessibility, not only in terms of whether they have the equipment, they have the internet access, but also in terms of there are some people in the society who do not have access to anything. So, to be able to have a very transparent system of e-learning, teaching and learning, which could, be very inclusive. So, which brings me to the question which I would like to ask Dr. Reeta Sonawat is, how are Indian institutes using technology for making teaching and learning more inclusive, especially in this current scenario of social distancing? Over to you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Dr. Dua, for this question. And thank you so much, Aditya and Sri Lakshmi, for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to be with all academicians. Most of the thing, to be last, this advantage or disadvantage, I don't know. Most of the things are told by eminent speakers. So sitting here, I thought I'll give 2-3 scenarios. So with the scenario, maybe the thing will be a little different and interesting. So the first scenario, which I would like to talk about the university side, where the 17th of March, there were some PhD vivas were fixed, and external examiner has said because of COVID, they cannot come. So that time there was no policy of the university to have a virtual viva. And that was that line 17, and the students, they travel from all over India for the viva, and the examiners have refused. So those vivas were cancelled. And now COVID is going on, the policies and everything are placed, and then now the universities are ready to take virtual vivas also, and having the digital signatures. So we have reached from one stage to another stage when it comes to the university. And rightly, one of our panelists have said, we have very fast shifted to the virtual platforms. Here I will like to say, now I'm shifting from university to school scenario. Schools, as soon as it is declared that the schools are closed, the teachers, without any training, they have started giving sessions, started teaching, and so fast and so nicely that I'll give you the example of some schools, like in Mumbai, we have a Vellore High School. Within a week, they have started giving digital classes, because their curriculum itself was a digital curriculum. So the thought was there earlier, so they did not have any problem to shift to face-to-face to the digital world. And very smoothly this transition has taken place, and the school is running like it was running earlier. And the students are also sitting in front of the laptop and taking the lessons very seriously, and the school timings, the way it was running, the similar way it was running. So this kind of change which has taken place in school, and learning has not stopped. That is the best part in the whole thing, is teaching is shifted, but learning process is on, and students are learning exactly the way they were learning. So this shift which I've seen in school, and this example I'm giving of one school, but there's so many schools I've seen in Mumbai where the shift has taken place very fast, and a lot of discussions are taking place. Earlier we used to say children has to be away from the technology, and they should be using technology in a very careful way. And now the whole class is going on the technology. So a lot of discussions are simultaneously going on what to do. So blended approach has come into the scenario for the lower classes especially, where they are given the task and after that they are doing by themselves. Some activity they are doing by themselves. So all the time they should not be in front of the technology, but they take a task, they take a project and they do the project by themselves. So this blended scenario has also accepted. The third, which I can say, there is a industry education partnership. That example also is a very interesting example. The scenario here is Ampersand Group is a group which is working for the education sector. So they got some, the government of Jammu and Kashmir requested them to conduct some training program for their government school teachers. Now the same, like the Amity professor in keynote speaker, they said, Jammu and Kashmir government has said, okay, when the corona is over, then we will be conducting. But the industry said, no, we have a capability. We can give you the virtual training. And the training has taken place. And the training was so successful that principal secretary has asked for the teachers, how do you like, how much you learn? And he himself wanted to know from the participant about their success in this area. And now because of the success of the story of Kashmir, they asked Jammu also to go for the training. So again, I'm saying the learning is not stopping. Maybe it's a teacher training program. There also the learning is continuous, and technology is definitely helping the teaching and learning process. Now I'm coming to the third, that is a disadvantage. Third scenario, which is very close to my heart, is a disadvantaged group of children, those who are working in the Balwadi and Anganwadi. This is a flagship program of Government of India, which is called ICDS program. And it started in 1975, but it's running smoothly in all over the country. And it's a really a very good program, I can say, which is giving 6 goals are there. And one of the goals is a teaching learning for the young children, 3 to 6 age group of children. There, this company, again, I will say Ampersand Group has a thought well in advance. 1 year before, they have given like a pilot project in a PPP model, laptop to the these Anganwadi workers. And these workers in 3-day times, this is what we need to understand. 3-day times, they have not touched even any time laptop. They now plug the laptop. From there, the learning has started. And they have said, when we used to ask our children, show us something in a smartphone, they said, you will not understand. The workers have said, they used to listen from their children like this. But in 3 days, they could understand how to manage the learning management system. So there we have uploaded daily lesson plans and some digital stories, rhymes, concepts, and some of the interactives also. So the whole thing was there last 1 year. Now in this COVID time, when they were not able to run the school because the school is a very small places and 40, 50 children, they are sitting there. So they did not have that bandwidth for social distancing. So school have stopped. But these teachers, because they have learned and they used to share with us stories and rhymes from the classroom situation. So they continued sharing their stories and rhymes and concepts to the children in their parents' smartphone. So that is learning, which is, and if you see even the government is also saying that 1 hour preschool child should be taking the education. And this 1 hour, they are sending their videos, which they are singing, they are telling the story, and children are learning. So children are still connected with the teacher, and teaching and learning is going on. So all these 3 areas, university to school to the Balwadis, I'll say all of us, all the teachers have done commendable work. And because of the virtual platforms and the many platforms which are available, they have used, somebody has used Google, somebody has used Microsoft. So they have a choice of using, and the way they think it is better for them and suiting to their pocket. Like our presenter, our panelist has said, they have purchased a lot of Zoom. So that kind of bandwidth also you need to have, because when we talk about digital thing, it's really expensive. So the bandwidth, if it is there, then people are going for the virtual. But most of the teachers have started teaching, and they're doing really hard work, but they're enthusiastic and highly motivated to go, and the learning should not stop. With that motto, they are give the education. Thank you so much, Dr. Dua.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sanawat. That was very interesting to hear about what all is happening and how Indian educators have actually quickly moved into the online space and not taken too much time and not needing so much training. I don't think we have time for question answers. I just got a message from Aditya. So I'm going to just sum it up. So I believe that if you're going to be able to realize the potential of collaborative classrooms and what we've discussed today, first is in terms of education. During COVID-19, I think it's been nudged and pushed to change. If you look at curriculums over the years, people have taken a lot of time to change them and to restructure them. But because of this pandemic, I think everybody is geared up to change, and it's become a catalyst to actually edge or nudge institutions to search for innovative solutions in a very short period of time. And this whole collaboration between institutions, both public and government, private organizations like Ampersand, and so many companies and government platforms, if they all come together, we have a repository of a lot of content and ideas and innovations that every institute is doing at their own level. I think we would be able to ride over this crisis and also build a lot of solutions for the future. But one the downside of the whole thing is that maybe because of the virtual classroom scenario, the digital divide could widen, actually, because people who don't have accessibility, like somebody quoted, and I also read a Economic Times report which said 60% only of the world population has access to internet. So this whole thing could widen, and people who don't have access to internet could probably lose out on education. There are also reports coming in that a lot of students who've left educational institutes during this pandemic probably will not join back. A lot of them probably will not join back. So that becomes a downside. But very importantly, we should also remind ourselves as educators that there are certain skills in students which need to be encouraged, which is creative problem solving, adaptability, which is very important. Like Dr. Samuel was saying, that there are, apart from the knowledge part, we need to have the other skills also, which I don't know how we are going to do in the virtual scenario. So thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Sancheti, Dr. Sanjeev Singh, Dr. Anand Samuel, and Dr. Sanawat. Thank you so much. And I'm going to hand you over to Sri Lakshmi. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you, Dr. Dua. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dua.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.